This is a talk about economics. It's a very important subject, but too many myths about it exist. Here are several laws people need to understand. This will result in everyone having access to food, clothing, housing, and the gospel of Jesus. The Messiah still must return, but these are the laws he will enforce. There are such things as a one-handed economist, and we need to learn these truths. First of all, there's free trade. Free trade benefits both parties. Any good economist will tell you that. There's this idea that we need to put in tariffs or we have to stop. If they don't open their markets up, then they don't open their markets up, and that's their people's losses. Look at the real terrorist nations like North Korea and Cuba. They have tariff embargoes. They don't let anything in, and their people suffer. Free trade benefits everyone. Another way to look at it is which all the states have different trade surpluses and deficits with each other state in America. There's things that are very profitable. There's tourist industries. There's sports areas that have a lot of sports. It just varies. The money goes in and out. It goes everywhere. If anything, free trade is good for America because the money goes out of America, and if anything, it helps us with the inflation. It reduces the inflation because the dollars go overseas. American dollars go overseas, and Americans get the products. It's a blessing. It's a good deal. What's your trade surplus with your grocery store? You go there, you give them your money, they give you or me the food, and then it's a good deal. At the end of the year, we don't go, hey, I'll give you all this food back, and you give me the money back. That's not how it works. Economics, learn something. Another thing is minimum wages and price controls don't work. They've been tried all the time throughout history. They just don't work. What's needed is a minimum amount that the leaders can spend and price controls on how much they spend. The money supply is so important to economics, but so few people focus in on it. Can't spend money you don't have. If you don't have it, you don't spend it. But the government continually just keeps spending and spending on boondoggle operations that don't do anything for most people. And it just creates inflation, housing prices go up, and everything else goes up. The insanity of the Inflation Reduction Act. All that money that was spent, and we save money on a few items here and there, but didn't do anything. Then there's DOGE. If you want to be efficient, then just get rid of the program. Stop talking about it. Just get rid of them. We don't need them. Don't need a Department of Education. Transportation needs to be abolished. We still need the interstate highways, and the safety issues still need to stay, but we don't need it. The Department of Commerce needs to be abolished. Just some of the departments that need to be abolished. So important to produce wealth and not jobs. It's another economic principle. One idiot can go out and dig a hole, another idiot can go in and fill the hole in. They both have a job, but they're not producing wealth. And as the economy transitions into service industry jobs, it's more important to learn these things and be efficient in it. But we can learn that without government programs. It's time to end all welfare. When I say welfare, what do you think of? Do you think of corporate welfare or social welfare? Well, they both have to end. You need to stop giving people money for not working. Prices will come down if the government controls their spending, and then housing prices will come down. Time to end all corporate welfare. Back in the day, there was the Tea Party and Occupy Wall Street. Both are eventually saying the same thing. No more corporate welfare. It's time to end it. Another thing it needs to understand is central banking. It's a well-run racket. The Federal Reserve System was created to stop all the inflation. It was supposed to prevent bank panics. It would heal the country. There wouldn't be any more runs on the banks. But look what happened. Within 2 decades, there was a Great Depression. Who was responsible? The Fed. Need to understand the interest rate and understand what it is and set it. The people need to understand what it is and set it. Never should be zero, and definitely should never be negative. There's fractional reserve banking, which causes instability in the system. The money you deposit in there is not there. So you need time deposits and demand deposits. With demand deposits, you can withdraw the money anytime, but a small fee needs to be paid for that service. It'll help bring more stability to the system. It's a long-term issue that needs to be addressed. It's also important to know that economic growth eliminates poverty. That's another important point. So you need the businesses to produce wealth. Government programs don't work most of the time, but businesses creating wealth, creating jobs, and providing goods and services do. Another important thing is to understand the peaceful transfer of power. It wasn't so much in politics that it happens in politics, but that's a joke. It's a peaceful transfer of property. That's what makes a country prosperous. That's what makes the so-called democracies democracies. That's what builds a nation. That's what makes a nation great. The peaceful transfer of property, not power. The power is in the ownership of the property. This idea of Marxism ending all property is insanity. Property rights are what makes countries rich and makes prosperity for everyone happen. We're in the modern era now. We're past farming, we're past manufacturing, we're in the information age and the service age. These industries need to be promoted and understood for the benefits that they have. They produce the food in the grocery stores. This is what produces the 24/7 water and electricity service that makes our lives so much better than the nations that don't have it. These creature comforts produce and let us live longer. We have a better quality of life. So that's another important thing to understand, the service industries. Businesses matter. They run a profit and a loss. They have a bottom line that they have to understand. If they don't do it, they go out of business. But government just keeps spending money and spending money. Businesses have reward and punishment apparatus right there in the business. So thank a business person more than you need to thank a politician. And there's too many leaders that are clueless about how the real world works. Understand how the real world works. Supposedly the border was secure. They said it was secure. But why did all these people come across? And then, to make matters worse, you got another set of clowns shipping them to other parts of the nation. How the hell did this happen? I thought this country was great, but all things work together for good. Let's just believe that. Another set of insanity is we want to defund the police. And then another set of clowns want to put more police on everywhere. Well, they're both wrong. We need morality. We need the 10 Commandments. We need to be one nation under God. You're not supposed to steal. You're not supposed to lie. You're not supposed to cheat. These fundamentals are everywhere, but why don't they preach it? Supposedly they're going to fix the problems, but they end up making it worse. Too many people lie for the attention. Don't listen to their lies. For everyone to have access to food, clothing, housing, and the gospel of Jesus, you need to understand the 4 fundamentals of life, liberty, property, and the money supply. So, property, talked about that you have to have a peaceful transfer of property, and the money supply has to be controlled. Unfortunately, all the nations are corrupt. America's no different. They just have a stronger economy, so there's enough crumbs for most people to live a quality of life. But the people in authority need to have a retitle of their name. They need to be called public opportunists. They give you the opportunity so that you can get a driver's license. They give you an opportunity so you can start a business. They give you an opportunity so that you can transfer your property from one person to another. Whether it's physical property or intangible property. This is what makes this so-called democracies democracies. But they also need to limit the money supply. Unfortunately, they've got missionaries out there that go forth and they dig a well, which is nice. You get water there, but if you do it this way, then you can have a house and it's got a bathroom and a kitchen that's got running water. That can improve their quality of life, and that's the new message of the gospel. So let's understand that and preach that. But still, no matter what happens, the Messiah has to come back. He's coming back. But we're in one of the last generations before that happens. He'll rule and reign for 1,000 years. He'll end the corruption and he'll fix it all. I'm waiting for his return. Hopefully you are too. Thank you for listening and watching.